Why Stellar could explode in 2025. Have you ever wondered which altcoin could really multiply your portfolio by 10? Today, I analyze Stellar, a coin with huge potential for 2025. I will show you why it could excite the masses. Could Stellar explode to $5 in 2025? Today, I analyze this altcoin with my 20 data-driven metrics to reveal its true potential. Stay tuned for a price prediction that could revolutionize your portfolio. Click like if you're ready. Let's go. Let's start with Stellar, also known as XLM. This altcoin, launched in 2014, is a decentralized payment network like XRP for fast, cheap, and cross-border transfers. Imagine transferring money worldwide in seconds. Stellar solves problems like high bank fees and slow transactions, especially with remittances. What makes it special? Its energy-efficient protocol and support from big players like Stripe. In short, Stellar brings finance to everyone. Sounds strong, doesn't it? Let's check if the numbers live up to its promises. But beware, a disclaimer, my channel is not financial advice, but purely informative. Now it gets serious. My 20 metrics for Stellar, weighted with the 10x potential. I rate each criterion from 0 to 10 so you know exactly where Stellar stands. Let's get started. Stellar has a market cap of approximately 8.5 billion, a mid-cap altcoin. Not huge, but with room for growth. Here I give a 6 for the solid potential. And by the way, leave a like if you're excited. Let's continue. Let's move on to the circulating supply. Over 61% is already in circulation. No new tokens since 2019. Low risk of dilution. A strong 9. The 2025 roadmap plans for 5 million monthly users and 3 billion in real-world and assets. It is clear and realistic. And now stay tuned, it's going to be exciting. 8. The team with Daniel Dixon and Joyce Kim includes top people from Google and IBM at Stellar. Experienced and successful, hence a strong 8. What narrative does Stellar have? Financial inclusion and affordable payments fit perfectly with the DeFi trends of 2025. A relevant narrative? Strong 8. What problem does Stellar solve? It solves the problem of slow and expensive transactions, such as remittances, in a $150 million market. Practical and scalable. 9. How is the sustainability? Its consensus protocol is super energy efficient, unlike Bitcoin. Stellar is green and strong. What about investors? Supported by Stripe and the XLM reserves of the Stellar Foundation, they are financially secure. 8. Who is the competition? Stellar competes here against Ripple, but also Ethereum. However, they are faster and cheaper here, but have fewer banking contacts compared to, for example, XRP. By the way, I link my analysis of XRP below in the comments. And by the way, I have already analyzed a lot of altcoins, so feel free to check out the 10x Universe playlist. You'll find some exciting altcoins there for you. In this area, definitely solid. How does it look in marketing? They are active on social media, have certain partnerships, for example, with MoneyGram, and they have good visibility here. Oh, how simple is the idea behind Stellar? Fast, cheap payments worldwide, even beginners get it. How about you? Write in the comments. Do you find Stellar easy to understand? Definitely a 9 in this area for clarity. What is actually Stellar's long-term vision? Stellar wants to connect the global financial world. Ambitious, but achievable. 8. Then, is Stellar deflationary? How does it look? Do they have a max supply? They have a fixed 50 billion and no inflation. They are very value stable. Strong 9. How about the fully improved market capitalization? It is 1.6 times the market cap. That speaks for a fair valuation. 7. How does it look with liquidity? A ratio of 0.0192 indicates good liquidity. In other words, you can buy and sell Stellar Lumens because it is very liquid. By the way, if you want to buy Stellar or other altcoins, I recommend my favorite exchange MEXC because you won't always find all altcoins on every exchange, and MEXC really has most altcoins and also low fees. If you sign up now through my link, you'll get a $20 and bonus. I always recommend signing up early, in case the altcoin season really kicks off. You can find all the information below in the pinned comment. Thank you very much for your support. Then, how is the token distribution? The Stellar Foundation holds many tokens, but with allocation and vesting, meaning a lockup period against dumps. Strong 8. Then, are there any top coins that hold an extremely large number of tokens? Foundation heavy, but as a non-profit organization, there's less risk of manipulation. 6. What is the utility of the Stellar token, that is the XLM, for payments for DeFi and for cheap transfers? Real added value. Strong 8. How strong is the XLM community? Active on X, on Reddit, also on many developer forums, lively and growing. By the way, are you also a fan of Stellar? Then leave a comment and make yourself known. In this area, a strong 8. Then, what events are still planned for this year? Here, new partnerships. They want to have 3 billion in assets by 2025. They have major catalysts here, especially in America. All in all, they are well positioned for 2025. 8. And then we come to the result. Wow, that was a lot of input. Stellar achieves 79.6% here. A really strong altcoin. But what does all this mean for the price? After this analysis, I am convinced that Stellar still has massive potential. Why? It solves real problems, has a clear roadmap, and a strong team. Price scenarios for 2025 are as follows. In a $5 trillion market in the crypto sector, Stellar could be worth $0.46, and in a normal case, even $2.3 if they gain more market share. In a total crypto market of $10 trillion, we're talking about $4.5 for Stellar in the best case. But beware, this is not financial advice, just a mathematical calculation.
XRP price forecast 2025. Can XRP really reach $1,000? Imagine there is a cryptocurrency that could replace the SWIFT system and redefine the future of international payments. Today we're talking about XRP, an altcoin that could connect not just banks, but entire economies. In this video, you'll learn why XRP is very important as a global bridge currency, and how the hell could XRP actually realistically reach the $1,000 mark? So what is XRP actually? XRP wants to make international payments fast and cheap, the so-called cross-border transactions. If you want to transfer millions right now from one country to another, it takes a long time at first, and it costs a lot in fees. In some countries, there are even participants who have no access to the system at all. These are obviously huge disadvantages. This is where XRP wants to help. It was also founded in 2012. It's been on the market for an extremely long time. The complete analysis of XRP. Now, first back to my 20 key figures. If you're new, check out the key figures and the analysis will start. My video where I explain it personally for you. And then the analysis gets started right away. What does the market capitalization of XRP look like? How much potential does it still have? We'll clarify all of that in this video. But what's important is, don't jump to the price prediction just yet, but take a look at the complete analysis. I have important data and key figures that are extremely important for you, especially if you are invested in XRP. Purely from a market capitalization perspective, XRP is already a high cap altcoin. That means its growth is actually limited, unless there's a counter argument. And why there's a counter argument, we'll clarify in this complete analysis. In that area, definitely 6 out of 10, if not even more. Then let's move on to the next point, the circulating supply. The circulating supply needs to be as high as possible, because otherwise it leads to inflation. If, of course, only a certain number of tokens are on the market and many more tokens can still come onto the market, this can lead to increased price pressure. XRP has about 60% already on the market. That's above my threshold, which is important. So that's a positive thing. That's why it's also 8 out of 10 in that area. Let's move on to the roadmap of XRP. They are essentially focusing on expanding the payment of cross-border transactions. They want to further develop the XRP ledger and are also on board with CBDCs. So all in all, they have a strong roadmap. 8 out of 10. So how strong is the XRP team? Brad Garlinghouse is definitely one of the most well-known figures in the crypto space. They have a very experienced team, very strong in the blockchain sector, but also in the finance sector. In addition, they already have a strong track record, which means that they have already implemented a lot in the past. In that area, it's 9 out of 10. Then the next point, what about the narrative? The narrative is to revolutionize international payments, because there are simply inefficiencies there. This is where XRP wants to make its move. So basically, they want to shake up the finance sector. 9 out of 10. So what problem does XRP actually solve? As already mentioned, they want to solve the problem that international payments are unfair, they take a long time and are costly. Here, they want to offer a solution. Cost-effective transactions really for everyone in the world to bring fairness back in. All in all, 9 out of 10. So what about the sustainability of XRP? And there you have an algorithm that works extremely efficiently. When you compare it to the current SWIFT system and the banking system, XRP is extremely energy efficient and effective in contrast. So, 9 out of 10 in this area. The next point, what about the investors and the capital? There you really have MIT. Institutional investors worldwide are forming partnerships, but of course also with banks. And the dispute with the SEC is fully on the table. Overall, this is extremely positive for further adoption. They are well capitalized here and, as I said, have strong financial partners. That's very positive. 9 out of 10. So, what about the opponents? The competitors in the space. Here we have HBAR, but also XLM. By the way, I've analyzed both. I will link the analyses up here. Also, very interesting. So, you can get an insight into who the direct competitors of XRP actually are. What makes XRP better now, or what disadvantages does it have? XRP. The advantage is, of course, that XRP has been on the market for a very long time and already has very strong partnerships. The disadvantages are that XRP already has a fairly high market capitalization. XRP is definitely well positioned here. 8 out of 10. The next point, what about the marketing about XRP? As I said, on one hand, they have strong partnerships. In the end, they achieve global visibility. XRP has been on the market for a very long time. That's obviously positive for marketing. All in all, solid. 8 out of 10. Stop. If you appreciate such in-depth analyses, then feel free to leave a like now. That supports my channel and especially my work. Thank you very much for that. I upload up to 7 analyses a week. Now extremely relevant, especially in the altcoin season. So make sure you don't miss out on the best altcoins. Subscribe to my channel now and don't forget to activate the bell, so you don't miss any more insights. And now let's continue right away. How simple is the idea behind XRP? And in the end, it's easy to understand. Ripple offers international payments, cost-effective and fast, so that anyone in the world could access it. All in all, it's very easy to understand. That's why it's also a 9 out of 10 in that area. So, what does Ripple's long-term vision look like? And here they obviously want to become the key player. In the financial sector of institutional payments, they ultimately want to get involved with CBDCs and achieve further adoption. They definitely have a clear long-term vision. 9 out of 10. Is XRP deflationary? Does it have a maximum supply? And it is such that they have a maximum supply, which is solid. 7 out of 10. What about the fully diluted market capitalization? This is in a solid range, so they are well rated. 7 out of 10. So, what about the liquidity of XRP? 0.06. Indicates strong liquidity. 9 out of 10 in that area. Then the next point, what was the token distribution? Because with XRP, Ripple holds a total of 43% of the XRP tokens. That's obviously a huge amount. Many tokens are already in circulation, which is a positive thing. All in all, in that area, 6 out of 10. The next point, what about the top coin holders? This builds a bit on the previous point. Since Ripple holds quite a lot of tokens, there are of course concerns about centralization. Those concerns are definitely justified. All in all, that's why it's only 5 out of 10 in that area. So what is the use of the XRP token? On one hand, of course, cross-border payments, meaning institutional payments. Then the XRP token is of course used for transaction fees. Then also for digital currency in the end. So all in all, the XRP token really has a good use. That's why there is also 9 out of 10 in that area. How strong is the community actually? And they are very active on Twitter, on Reddit, and in the XRP chat. Here you have an extremely strong support from the XRP army. That comes of course from the fact that they have been on the market for a long time. In that area, definitely 8 out of 10. So what events are coming up for XRP in the next 6 to 12 months? And the thing is, they want to involve more and more financial institutions. Then they are participating in CBDC pilot projects. And they want to explore new use cases for the XRP ledger. I will show you here, as always, what current events there will be that are extremely relevant. In that area, definitely 8 out of 10. And then we come to the result, 77.7%, an interesting number ultimately achieved by XRP. XRP is not just another altcoin. It's one of the most groundbreaking solutions in the crypto market, especially for global payments, which are already being used by major financial institutions around the world. With its extremely fast transaction times, low costs, and the ability to replace SWIFT and other traditional systems, XRP is at the forefront of the crypto revolution. Let's take a look at realistic price predictions. And yes, we'll get to the prediction soon, whether $1,000 is even possible. In the bear case, $3 would be possible. That would be poor growth. In the normal scenario, $6 are already possible. In the optimistic and very optimistic scenario, $12 to $24 are possible. That would still be significant growth. But how could XRP reach $1,000? Let's analyze that together. XRP would first need to become the standard currency globally, thereby replacing international payments under the SWIFT system. Then they would need to be integrated into CBDCs worldwide to serve as an intermediary. Then they would need to experience massive growth. Just like the entire crypto market, it would need to grow massively again. Then, scarcity and utility. XRP would need to see a significant increase in transaction volume, of course the demand, then regulatory clarity. Globally, XRP would need to be legally recognized and made available for use by institutional and retail investors. If XRP then reached a price of $1,000, would you have a market capitalization of $57 trillion US? Can you imagine what those numbers are? At this point in time, the entire crypto market is worth $3.3 trillion. The entire US stock market is currently valued at $60 trillion. That corresponds to 60% of the current market capitalization of the entire world. That would be huge. I hope you can now get an idea of how huge that would be. $1,000 for XRP would be, and of course how realistic that actually is. But everyone has to assess that for themselves. If you definitely want to buy XRP now because you think it will reach $1,000, then I can recommend my favorite exchange down below. I'll link it in the video description. Now that you know the massive potential of XRP, I'll link it up here, an analysis of an altcoin that also has massive potential. He personally surprised me, especially with his tokenomics. And not many people have it on their radar yet. So definitely check out the analysis, it's really interesting. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.